Good morning, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. What a day. This is going to, I tell you what, I just been sitting here doing a little reading. I'm really fired up for spring, man. You see in the back corner there, I still got some stuff to run up to the attic. Got some old Christmas paper there. I got to run up to the attic, but I am fired up for spring, man. I am. I don't know about you folks, but I'm ready to get at it. Let's do this. Good morning, folks. I tell you what, I am super excited. I am, because nothing says Happy Valentine's Day like 1 billion rubles worth of Russian hardware at the bottom of the Black Sea. The Cesar Kunikov is no more. The hilarious part is that the Russians have put out a statement, and I'm not even joking. You can go to RT and look at this. Yes, Russia Today, Russian state television actually broadcasts here in the U.S. You can see what they're saying. They're saying it was engaged in underwater munitions testing, that it wasn't actually destroyed. It's at the bottom of the Black Sea. Underwater munitions test. They upgraded it to a submarine. The interesting thing about it is that the Cesar Kunikov, the guy that the boat is named for, tell me this isn't like some freaky stuff, died on Valentine's Day. He did. He was a World War II Russian hero who died on Valentine's Day. Slava Ukraini, folks. Slava Ukraini. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Yeah, I see you're talking about Jon Stewart. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but I actually want to start off comparing the difference between a Democrat and a Republican. What we're doing and basically what the future looks like. While Republicans were out acting like clowns, we were winning races. We were doing our job. And because we were doing our job, we had two really big wins yesterday I want to share with you. We got Jim Prokopiak in Pennsylvania's 140th House District, won a race that Republicans flooded with money. They flooded this district. They really thought they had a chance at this seat. This maintains our majority in the Pennsylvania legislature. Remember, Republicans made inroads into Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania is not what people think. Yes, it's a blue state. Yes, it votes blue, but it is not uniformly blue. There is, if you talk to political insiders, they will tell you, you have Democratic Philadelphia and Democratic Pittsburgh, and everything in between is Alabama. And it is not an easy win for a Democrat. It's not a cakewalk. Let me show you where the 140th district is. And congratulations to Jim Prokopiak for running a good race. You did well. You did well, sir. His opponent was Candace Cabanas, and she had boatloads of money. They just were dumping dump trucks of money on her, trying to secure a Republican majority in the Pennsylvania legislature. But this is, you see, I've marked Trenton on the map here. You've got Philadelphia here to these. This is all Allentown, Trenton. That's all blue. Scranton. And over here, you've got Pittsburgh and Erie, and that's all blue. Everything in the middle is Alabama. It just is. And the 3rd district is out here in the middle of the sticks. There's Trenton here. The 3rd district is an area. I hope you can see my cursor there. It's just this area right here. That's the 3rd district, out in the middle of Buxton, Cahuta, nothing but small towns. And they did the work, man. They went out, they knocked on doors, they postcarded, they called, they did everything they were supposed to do, and brought in a handy win. I mean, they won this handily. 8 points, folks. 8 points. I mean, it was a big win. And of course, the corporate media is, oh, we squeaked one out. No, we didn't squeak one out. We really nailed it. But that wasn't our only win yesterday. This one really, really makes me happy. I want to play you a video here. I got Dana Bash talking about Tom Suozzi's win. Oh man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Whew, I tell you what, it is just hitting today. It is hitting today. 1 second. Let me get that video for me from Dana Bash. She's talking about folks that she talked to in the district and why they voted blue.
I heard from voters that they were these are obviously very well-informed voters, right, but they were at the polling station. They were voting early. And several of them said to me that they don't want to vote for the Republican because it's clearly impossible to get a solution on the issue of immigration. They said the border problem, the immigration issue, the migrant issue in their district was the top issue for them. And that the fact that Republicans killed that bipartisan deal put them over the edge to vote for Tom Suozzi. And immigration was their top issue. So I think that there's some, I heard from voters that they were
This is what I've been trying to tell my fellow Democrats. Don't ever play defense. I don't care if the Republicans think they have an issue. Charge at it. Charge at immigration. That is a subject we can win. That is something we can win on. Why? Because Democrats are there to do the job. We produced a bill that was a Republican fever dream in the Democratic-controlled Senate. It's things they've been asking for forever. It radically reduced the number of people that we would grant asylum to. It did a lot, folks. I mean, it really did. It went a long way to fixing problems down at the border, including injecting money into technology, which we needed. Folks, don't run away from the border. Run at it. Listen to what these voters are saying. Republicans are clowns. They cannot govern. It's always stunts. We, Democrats, get it done. Yeah, she actually conceded her race. This is interesting. Thanks for bringing that up. I just got a question there. Sorry, lost my train of thought for a second. No, Mazi Pilip is getting excoriated by Donald Trump right now. Just excoriated for Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump today. He's all over Truth, whatever the hell his failing website is, talking about Republicans will never learn. You've got to suck my ball sack. If you don't suck my ball sack, you don't win. Mazi Pilip just didn't suck my ball sack, and look what happened. She lost. She's a fool. What? She did? She did? Well, she didn't suck my ball sack enough. Because it's like a genie's lamp. It's like a genie's lamp. When you suck my ball sack, then you win election. That's how you win elections. I mean, it's just freaking hilarious. I mean, she ran so hard as a Trump Republican that, I mean, I swear to God, if Trump had stopped abruptly, she'd have ended up in his dirty diaper. She was just that hard on his butt. And she lost. And Trump is terrified that. All right, folks, I will give it to you. I will give it to you. No, Jordy announced the name the other day. You should have watched the Midas Touch podcast like the rest of us. Actually, I knew. He told me in advance. We talk on the phone every once in a while. Elijah. Jordy named his baby Elijah. Elijah John Marcellus. Good, strong boy's name. I very proud for him. Super proud for him. They are great people. They are great people. I'm very proud for him and Alexis. He's going to be a great dad. He really is. Because I got to tell you, Ben is smart, highly calculated. Just tell you the personalities of the three. Ben is highly smart, highly intelligent. He's like one of those next level intelligent people. Jordy he's smart. Don't get me wrong. Jordy's smart. You know, Jordy is very sweet. He is very much a person that leads with his emotions. He is a really guy. When that guy hugs you, it's a sincere hug. You know what I mean? He's just really a sweet, warm, wonderful guy. Brett is hilarious. Brett is funnier than you would ever believe. He is freaking and talented. Oh my God, that guy can do things like you wouldn't believe. Just I mean, he could sit down. It would take me a day and a half to edit something out. He can sit there and do my Trump impression. Bing bong, bing, 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 bang, bang, bing, bing. And then they come up, boom, there you go. You've got a completely edited, 15-minute video. And I mean, but Brett is hilarious. He really is. He is hilarious and super talented. But Jordy, yeah, Jordy's a sweetheart. He is. But let's get back on track. We've got a lot to talk about. We got Tom Suozzi won the election last night in New York's 3rd district, Pennsylvania. I'm still stuck on Pennsylvania. New York's 3rd district. Again, not a cakewalk district at all for a Democrat. Folks, this is Nassau County. Let me show you this district. Congratulations to Tom Suozzi. Yeah, I mean, just good job, my friend. Good job. Everybody was having a fit because he's run and lost before, and they're like, "Why are they running him again? Why are they running?" No, he did a great job. He did the work. His campaign did the work. They were tight with their money. They were smart. They did the phone banking. They did the work. They got out. They knocked on doors. But yeah, this is the 3rd district. I pulled this one off of Wikipedia. We're not going to go to Google Maps for this one. I want you to see the outline of the district. But yeah, this is New York's 3rd district. Okay, this is Queens here to the left. This is a Long Island you see in the middle here. You can tell by looking down at this map right here where we're talking about Long Island. You've got Queens here, which is blue. But this is Nassau. This next area over. The meat of that 3rd district, that's Nassau County. That is red, folks. Nassau County is deep purple. And then, of course, you keep going farther out on the island. You get to the Hamptons and those folks. But yeah, that was not a cakewalk win at all. And Democrats did the work. We do the work of governing. We don't bullshit around. We get it done, folks. We get it done. Juxtapose that with Republicans. Okay. Thanks for the support, Lucky Star. I appreciate you. I really do. Juxtapose that with Republicans. This is Bobo last night. This is what Bobo was doing last night.
Just now, we impeached Secretary Mayorkas, who's endangered our country by deliberately handing over control of our southern border to the cartel. Now that's delivering for the American people, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Let's watch that
Just
again.
now, we impeached Secretary Mayorkas, who's endangered our country by deliberately handing over control of our southern border to the cartel. Now that's delivering for the American people, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Okay, folks. Who here believes that that Alejandro Mayorkas turned over control of our southern border to the cartels? Folks, even right-wingers don't believe that. It is more nonsense. It's just more stupidity, more beclowning themselves. You know, Alejandro Mayorkas went down at the end of December and had a meeting with President Obrador down in Mexico, insisting that they crack down on their side of the border before this ever becomes a U.S. problem. Mexico complied. Border crossings fell by half, folks. That's why they're trying to get this done before the numbers come out. Border crossings fell by half. Illegal crossing. You know, Alejandro Mayorkas was just doing his job. And they impeached him. After not passing the border bill, which enabled Alejandro Mayorkas to do his job. Submarining the border bill because Donald Trump called them and said, don't pass it. I want to run on the border. Because he's got nothing else. Nothing else. Can anybody tell me anything Republicans have done? I'm not talking about this clown show nonsense. Because, and folks, don't worry about it, Alejandro Mayorkas. He's not going anywhere. This is DOA when it gets to the Senate. It is. It's dead on arrival. It was a waste of your tax dollars to hold that vote. Absolutely. But don't run away from it. Run to it. Show people her stupidity, the things she's saying. Just show people the difference between what a Democrat is, what Democrats work on, what Democrats produce, and Republicans. Every time we will win on that. We will win on that every single time. And you know, that applies to other things. We had Jon Stewart the other day. So damn disappointing. Anybody watch Jon Stewart's show on Monday? Anybody else catch that? 30 minutes because Jon Stewart decided we didn't know President Biden's old. So he did a 30-minute show on President Biden's old. And then what's worse is he drew parity between Biden and Trump as though they're the same because they're both old. No, these two things are not the same. Whataboutism is bullshit. It is purely bullshit. You have one president that is working his ass off. GDP. We just found out wages are growing faster than they've grown in the last 50 years. That's going to be the talking point you're going to see out of the left. Wages are growing faster than they've grown in the last 50 years. It's like 4.5%. Amazing work that the president is doing because he's got a great team around him. Look at Donald Trump. Look at the 2025 project. All of these important things. Taking rights away from women. I mean, Jon Stewart threw the LGBTQ plus community under the boat. All of the attacks on the LGBTQ plus community. He just boiled it all down to Biden's old. Well, you know what? I don't know about you, but I knew Biden was old, but I also know he's out there kicking ass and doing things for the American people. And I know that Trump is an existential threat to our country. So no, these two things are not the same, Jon Stewart. And I don't know what the hell you were thinking. It was just the dumbest, most ignorant show I have seen in forever. I was truly disappointed. So many people, yeah, Julie Gandy, so many people were so put off by it. I mean, I'm watching this, and there's a couple funny jokes in there. There were, I'm old. I can handle an old joke. Okay. But then it became painfully obvious. It became painfully obvious that he was going to do 30 minutes on Biden's age. I mean, really? I mean, did you really think it was that critical of an issue? Because, folks, let me tell you something. Biden is the Democratic nominee. Trump will be the Republican nominee. That's our reality. That's what we have to deal with. What are you doing running old people? Doesn't help anyone at this point. Anyone. You have to look at what you have and decide what's best for the country. Why are you running? What are you doing? It's done. Biden will be the nominee. Period. He did a good job in the first term. We're going to give him a second term. Trump will never be near the levers of power again. The man is dangerous. The man is dangerous. He's a convicted, I mean, Jesus Christ. He raped a woman in a Bergdorf Goodman dressing room. He's got to pay $83 million to her because not only did he rape her, but then he defamed her. That's Trump. And then now, oh my God, I love it. Have you been seeing this? The GOP is in complete turmoil. Donald Trump is going to put Lara Trump in. He's going to install her as the head of the Republican Party. And she's already said every penny that goes to the Republican Party will go to Donald Trump. Those grifters are going to rape the Republican Party. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Do it. Put that incompetent hack in charge of the GOP. Put that incompetent hack, put her fingers on the bank accounts and watch what happens. I'm here for it. 100% yes. Do that. Pretty please. Do that. That's the buffoonery. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Run at this stuff. Biden's old. You bet he's old. Been around forever. Has more experience than the last 3 presidents combined. He's, yeah, doing a great job. Doing a great job. And I'm just going to sum this whole Jon Stewart thing up because it really pissed me off. It really did piss me off. This is not something we need right now. It isn't. I didn't need to be told Biden's old. I knew that. I also know he's the candidate. And I know whining about it does nothing. But when you tell people that Biden has to be watched closer than Trump, screw you. Screw you. Trump every day is in front of a camera saying things that any one of which should end his political career. But the media in our country, the corporate media in our country, will not cover it. They will not make it an issue. Donald Trump stood in front of a camera. I appreciate you, Carolyn. I really do. Thanks for keeping the lights on around here. Thank you. Said that he was going to betray our NATO allies. He expressed that he had no understanding of how NATO works, how NATO is funding. He thinks it's a country club where there are country club dues, and somehow these folks are behind on their dues. Not how that works, folks. Not how that works. But he says, yeah, he's going to tell Russia, go ahead, do what you want to do. We're not in this. We're not in NATO. We're not going to support our NATO allies. He said that in front to a camera, to a crowd that cheered. Crickets in the mainstream media. If Joe Biden said something that asinine and idiotic, it would be the front page story for the next 3 months. Sheldon Hughes, Biden will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents. He will. He will. Look at what he's done. Look at how well. I mean, the entire world came out of COVID. He put together a team to handle the inflation. Everybody in the world had an inflation spike after COVID. Demand outpaced the reopening of factories. Even when the factories reopened, they couldn't get goods to market because of shipping issues. He worked with governments around the world to solve those shipping issues. They brought inflation under control better than any other nation on earth. I know we've got a international audience here. I know you get tired of hearing about this American exceptionalism shit. That's not what this is at all. I'm just telling you, Biden was on it. He was. When we had a shipping container shortage, remember the shipping container shortage? They solved that problem. Remember when we had boats full of oil just parked off terminals, just holding oil to drive the prices up? He started finding them, made them drop their cargo, brought the prices of energy down. He did the job. Compare that to clownery and the rest, from the entire Republican sphere and the things that they have done and said. Just idiocy. Peter Campbell says, Biden has joked himself that he served with the founding fathers and the other guy is a convicted sexual abuse. Yeah, I mean, he knows he's old. I know he's old. I didn't need 30 minutes of the Daily Show to tell me Biden's old and that's somehow dangerous. Folks, we know. We know his age. The man is not an asinine jerk. Janji says, my husband is 72 and still works from sunrise to sunset. Maybe Biden should challenge Trump to a bicycle race. No kidding, Janji. I appreciate that. But you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it for a second. Say Biden gets to the point where he really can't do the job. What do you think Joe Biden would do at that point? Do you think he's arrogant enough that he would just stay in the job? I mean, really, I want to see your comments, your answers to those questions. If Biden ever got to the point where he couldn't do the job and he was hurting our country, what do you think Joe Biden would do? Steve McLeod says, win-win. She won't have time for her singing career and she's not smart enough to help the RNC. Yeah, Lara Trump is a disaster and I wish her on them. Diana Schneider says, what bothers me the most is the cheering. I know. I hear you. Rich, buddy, thanks for the appreciate you, man. Thanks for the support. Rochelle, I appreciate the support. I really do. Mama for Democracy says, attacking Biden's age just makes me want to vote and donate to him more. Me too. This is so awkward, so weird, so out there nonsense that it just makes me just run to him harder. And honestly, folks, this whole we have to watch Biden closer than Trump. Trump is telling you he wants to be a dictator. I want to be a dictator, but I'll only be a dictator on day one. Show me a dictator in this world that gave the power back. Thanks, Penaloco. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Forgive me for looking down. I'm reading your comments. The dude from SoCal, thanks for the support, man. I really appreciate you. This is where I was going next, and Anonius, great comment. But look at Trump. Look at the 2025 project. I mean, show me a dictator anywhere in the world that was a dictator on day one that gave the power back on day two. I'm not a fool. I'm not a fool. I have a man standing in front of me that tells me he wants to be a dictator. I believe him. I believe him. And then we get the media and Jon Stewart doing the same stupid shit they did last time, normalizing this. This should be the lead story in every newscast from now to election day. But man, they want that Republican money. They want that Republican money. You know, that you need to get it through your heads, folks. It's up to us. It is up to us. Don't rely on the media. Just don't rely on the media. They want that $16 billion that's going to be spent this election cycle. That's what they want. That's the most important thing to them. Doesn't matter. They don't think of it long term. They don't think what happens to the media when we have a dictator. Not crossing their minds. Not that bright of people. Sherry Foster says Donald Trump is telling NATO that they are on their own if they don't, quote, if they're not paying their bills. Donald Trump, you should speak for yourself. What a hypocrite. I know a guy that doesn't pay his bills trying to trash talk people saying they don't pay. And folks, it's worse than that. Today, Fox is running a story, I'm not kidding, that NATO is now paying its bills in anticipation of a Trump presidency because they want to be caught up. No, that is bull. That is crap. That is complete crap. What has been happening with NATO for the last decade is that their spending has been increasing to bring them more in line. It doesn't mean they're not contributing. Like I told you about Germany. Germany is still at only 1.5% or so of their GDP to defense spending. And that's what NATO membership requires, folks. Is that it is your defense spending versus your GDP, that measurement. Okay, that is the requirement. He's saying that they're behind on, and a lot of European nations don't dump into their defense spending like we do. We overspend on defense. We do. We just do. They choose not to do that. But where does their defense spending go? It almost all goes into NATO operations. Almost all of it. That's why Germany at 1.5% is still like the third largest contributor to NATO operations. Yeah, and what they're well over 2% now. They're well over the 2% mark, and the trend has been increasing. Europe has been increasing. They're seeing what's happening in Ukraine. They're seeing Russia and their desires to revitalize the Soviet Union and realizing that they should have been spending more, and they've been increasing. It has just been happening. You know, the last 3 years under Biden, NATO defense spending for NATO countries as proportion to GDP has been increasing rapidly. But now Fox is going to try to give Trump credit for that by saying, "Oh, they know Trump's coming. They're scared. They're scared." And it's crap. It is just pure crap. Do not rely on the media, folks. Just don't do it. They're worthless. Tamara Gaisford lived in Europe 6 years with my late husband, U.S. Air Force and NATO. Glad you're here. Tell your husband thank you for his service. But yeah, that's what Fox is doing. That's why your idiot MAGAs in your family and the people you know that are idiot MAGAs are going to continue to be idiots, because they're being told their guy is responsible for something that Joe Biden's been doing for the last 3 years. And they want to believe that, so they're going to believe it. If anything yesterday tells us from the elections we won yesterday, ignore that noise. Do the work. It's up to you. It's up to you. Spread information. Spread the truth. Don't rely on the media to do it. Use your social media platforms. Get out there, donate to campaigns, volunteer for campaigns, and vote. Vote, vote, vote. Enough is enough, man. Vote. But yeah, we've got a little bit more than just election news. I want to introduce you to Janessa Moreno. We're finally getting some information out of the Lakewood Shooter. This is Janessa Moreno. We're finally getting some information about what the hell that was all about. If you don't know, down in Lakewood Church, that's Joel Osteen's mega church down in Houston, this woman walked into that church with her 7-year-old boy. Everybody said he was 5. Turns out he's 7. 7-year-old boy in tow. Used him as a human shield and opened fire on people in the church with an AR-15. People are asking, where the hell did she get an AR-15? Because this woman has a criminal history 2 decades long. She's also a paranoid schizophrenic. But this is Texas. And in Texas, you can buy an AR-15 at a garage sale. Yeah, private sales are not regulated in the state of Texas. Now, legally, you're supposed to not sell to anybody that isn't legally allowed to buy. But since there's no system for individuals to actually do that here in the state of Texas, nobody's ever prosecuted for that. So the media is out chasing its tail. Where did she get the gun? How did somebody with a criminal record get a gun? How did somebody that's been adjudicated mentally incompetent get a gun? Texas. Take my word for it. You can go to any gun store, or pardon me, gun show. There will be tables full of private sales. And you just walk up and hand them cash and walk out with your gun. Texas. It's just, that's how she got a gun. So yeah, she's a paranoid schizophrenic. Her ex-husband is Jewish. She gets into this online stuff. You've seen it all. They went back and checked her house, full of anti-Semitic writing. She's just crazy, folks. Just crazy. And the question is, what now? Okay, so she's crazy. Well, there's nothing to stop crazy people from arming themselves in the state of Texas. My governor wants to have this fiction down at the border. Waste our surplus on photo ops down at the border that actually don't represent what's going on down at the border. Just waste $30 billion. Meanwhile, if you're crazy in Texas, too bad, so sad. There's nothing here for you. Nothing. Anybody, ask the people in the audience that are here from Texas. They will tell you, you have a family member with addiction? Too bad, so sad. The facilities just aren't here. You've got somebody that has serious mental issues? Too bad, so sad. The infrastructure's not here. You know, they want to brag about, oh, our state is a super success. We're the model for the country. Everybody wants to move here. No, we are not. Our schools suck. Our roads suck. Our medical infrastructure sucks. This woman had a decades-long rap sheet. She was a paranoid schizophrenic. She got her hand on an AR-15. Why? Texas. Texas. You know, yeah, we got that world famous electrical grid here in Texas because we have to have our own electrical grid. We can't be part of the nation's electrical grid. Oh no, we're Texas. Got to have our own grid that we don't maintain. Folks, run on this. Run on this. You don't want to have the gun argument, right wingers, fine. You want to say, oh, well, she was crazy. Can't take my guns away. She was crazy. Okay, what do we do with the crazy people? You're doing nothing about that. And it's the same in states, red states all over the country, Ohio, Florida. Folks, chime in. Tell me about your state and what does somebody like Miss Moreno do for treatment? Amen, brother. Amen. Republicans are engaged in treason. What does somebody like Miss Moreno do in your state? Because there's not a damn thing we can do for her here. Nothing. We're losing hospitals. Mental health care is non-existent in my state. Folks, me and Mrs. Texas Paul dealt with a family member with an addiction issue. We know for a fact how freaking hard it is to get somebody to get treatment. Again, just like abortion. Can't get abortion care. It's health care. There are many, as we've seen over and over again, there are medical issues in which an abortion is necessary, but you can't get it here in the state of Texas. You have to be damn near dead before a doctor will feel safe enough to actually save your life. It's the same thing with mental health care. It's the same thing with, Jesus. It is ridiculous. This is what Republicans do. Lori Wilson says you can get a gun faster than you can get help for mental health. Amen. Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. You can fill your house with an arsenal in the state of Texas much easier and much cheaper than you can get mental health care. That's just the way, that's Republicans. They don't govern. All they do is pander to talking points for the lay person. And let me tell you something. When you think of how stupid the average American is, and realize half of them are stupider than that, to quote the late, great George Carlin. Let me say that again. Think how stupid the average American is, and they've been making a spectacle show of it. Look at Bobo. And that's the average American. Half of them are stupider than that. And that's who the Republicans have made their base. Yeah, you know where I was going with that, Jason. Nailed it. That's the base. Absolutely. And yeah, we know it's a problem. The cops know it's a problem. If you talk to your average cop, they hate this crap. They do. But if you go out and talk to a rural sheriff, they're like, the most important thing to him is your rights. Your rights. You got to be able to own them guns, man. There's nothing to stop you, nothing legally to stop you. Your rights. Well, let's talk about standard of living. Let's talk about the way we live. Quit talking to me about your rights. Let's talk about how we live, because that's what Democrats do. I put a post up on my social media the other day, and I knew it was only going to be Democrats that responded, because I block Republicans. I do. I don't platform. I've got some pretty sizable platforms on these social media platforms, and I don't platform right-wing misinformation. I don't. I block them. And you should have seen, I said, I put a post up that said, what policies do you want actually put into place here in the United States? And it was the most common sense we want education through college. We want to fund our education system, healthcare for everybody, Medicare for all. It was all just common sense, like they like to call kitchen table issues. Just hundreds of them. None of it was radical. None of it was craziness. Nobody talked about their rights. Nobody talked about their rights, It was all just getting shit done. That's who we are, folks. That, as Democrats, that's who we are. We just try to get shit done. Try to make things happen. And look at the right wing. They're freaking dangerous. They're dangerous. I appreciate you, brother. I actually should have run this time. Should have run this time. Maybe next time. Yeah, it's a joke here. Lawyer here in Texas gives his wife Plan B again without her knowing, because they're having marriage problems and he don't want to pay child support, so he terminates the damn pregnancy without her knowing. Abortion's illegal here, and says he keeps his law license because Texas, man. Because Texas. I want to update you a little bit on Robert Hur. I want to take a little victory lap here. Last Sunday's show was about Robert Hur. And what I told you his plan was, the Republican plan was, it wasn't just to do it, hit job talking points on Joe Biden, that he actually had a plan. He was trying to rope-a-dope Merrick Garland into touching that report so that they could have hearings claiming that the Biden administration was trying to hide, that Joe Biden was old, that was the point of it. And that blew up in their faces because Merrick Garland did not touch that report. Not a period, not a comma. Didn't change a thing, put it out. And like I said, Robert Hur didn't want that report to come out as written because it makes him look like a complete moron. Well, I told you that the guy wasn't a moron. I may have been too generous. Because guess who wants to talk to Robert Hur? Republicans in Congress have sent invitations out for Robert Hur to come testify before their bullshit committees. And Robert Hur is not going, he's got privilege. This is an investigation. He doesn't have to talk about it. But no, he's going to go talk about it. I told you. That was what this was all about, to get Robert Hur before Congress. And now, because the Biden administration was smart enough not to take the bait, they didn't fire Robert Hur to begin with. They didn't touch the report that came out. They didn't take any of the bait. That's taken away from Republicans. They can't sit there and say, oh, well, Biden tried to hide this and, yada, yada, yada. That's taken off the table. And they're going to try to time it late summer. You watch. They're going to invite him, but it won't be next week. Told you, I'm actually pretty good at this shit. I understand political strategy, folks. I really do. I kind of got my finger on the pulse beat of the operation. I know these people's motives. Like I said, I may have given her a little bit too much credit for being smarter than he is, because this report is just, in the legal community, everybody's looking at him like, you're an idiot. Why did you put your name on this? This is just a worthless report, the way it's written. This is your opinion, and then you contradict your own opinion. Well, now he's going to go sit down before people like Jasmine Crockett and Dan Goldman, and he's going to get destroyed, absolutely destroyed publicly, because he really wants a Supreme Court seat. He really, really wants Republicans to appoint a Republican to appoint him to the Supreme Court. I hate to tell you this, buddy, but you are going to be really, really freaking old and really, really yesterday's news before a Republican is in a position to appoint you to shit. And that's a fact, because I've changed my opinion, Robert Herr. You are a fucking moron. Well, folks, that's what I have to talk about today. I saved a little time. I've been promising you a roundtable discussion to discuss what you wanted to talk about. Any questions that you've had, I've missed it the last couple shows because it just ran long. A homeless vet says, Texas Paul, I've added a drink with you to my bucket list. I'm telling you, you know what I want to do, folks? Since that, we'll start the roundtable with that. You know what I want to do? There's a really great Oktoberfest here. There's one in Dallas that's pretty good, and then there's one down in a little town called New Braunfels that is really good. They call it Wurstfest. It's right around the same time. Wurstfest isn't technically Oktoberfest, but it's a really great event. I'm thinking about having a Texas Paul meetup at one of these, where everybody can come. We can just throw back some beers, bullshit, sit back on a picnic table, you know what I mean? Put our elbows back on a picnic table, relax, drink some beers, and just hang out, man. What do you think? And we're talking October, so it's plenty of time for everybody to do it. Plan for it. I don't understand ribs, Mr. Spock. I don't. I love ribs. I do. But doesn't that sound like a good time, though? All of us just meeting up, having a good time, drinking beers and, doing a little dancing. And no, I'm not wearing lederhosen. Let's just get that off the table right now. Thanks, you, Barbara. I appreciate the support. Let's get that off the table right now. I am not wearing lederhosen. That ain't happening. Oh, man. All right. What questions do you have that you want to talk about? This is your show as much as mine. Let's hear it. Who will be Trump's VP pick? Vivek Ramaswamy. Trump has a very limited bubble of people that he listens to. He somehow thinks they're political geniuses. And they're all telling him Vivek. So yeah, Vivek will be his little attack poodle. No kidding, folks. Really. I mean, I didn't hesitate when I said that. Vivek Ramaswamy will be his vice president. You watch. Oh, let me see. I'm going to be in Dallas for Nerd Halen, by the way. If you love Hal and you like the show, I'm going to be there. We've got our tickets. We've got our hotel room March 2nd. I'll be there. We're going to have a good time. Richard A., how would a Trump presidency affect Canadians? Really simple, buddy. You're going to lose your ally to the South. You are. You're going to lose your ally to the South. You're going to see, like the rest of the world, a American-Russian alliance. Putin owns Trump. Trump is a fool. Trump will not have any guardrails because if you read the 2025 project, they intend to gut our government to prevent any of our institutions from stopping Trump. Canada, you're going to be basically on your own with the rest of Europe. We may end up at war. We may end up on the opposite sides of a war. And that's not hyperbole. Because of your ties to England, your ties to France, it's going to be Europe on its own. And it's going to be crazy. It is. I can't stress to you how dangerous a Trump presidency is going to be. I can't believe that the world would even let that happen. I refuse to believe it. And I think that everybody's too comfortable within the media thinking that the world won't let that happen, so that they can just go ahead and play games to make sure they collect that $16 billion in election money. William G. Atheist number 1, once Trump loses in November, how bad will they rebel? I'm asking because of the southern border. Not much. They won't. You got to remember, MAGA are loudmouths. They're not much to it at all. Everybody's expecting him to lose. It'll be less than last time. These things tend to not spin up. They tend to spin down. I wanted to remind you folks, again, today is Valentine's Day. Guys, I've already done my husbandly duties. Time for you to do yours. Take care of business. Get out there. Get some flowers. Get some candy. I'm telling you. And yes, it is Ash Wednesday. You will see I was raised in a Catholic household, folks. I was. So today you will see the Catholics. They will have the ash smeared on their foreheads. It is Ash Wednesday. It's the beginning of Lent, which is a great cosmic joke. Valentine's Day in the beginning of Lent. If you know what Lent is, you know why those two things don't typically, But little factoid here. Do you know where the ashes for Ash Wednesday come from? They're for the palms from Palm Sunday from the previous year. Palm Sunday is the beginning of Holy Week. That's the last week of Lent. This year, Lent is from February 14th through March 26th, I want to say. March 26th. It'll be Thursday, sundown on Thursday, Lent will end. And then the next day, of course, you have Good Friday, which is the end of Holy Week. But Palm Sunday starts Holy Week. Palm Sunday is a celebration. You remember, Jesus was a Jew, right? So he went back to Jerusalem. He was met by the crowds. They were waving palms at him, cheering, threw the palms in the road to cover, roads were dirty back then. So they threw palms down on the road for him to walk on. That's the beginning of, that's what Palm Sunday is. It's to celebrate Jesus coming. And the whole season of Lent, no, we're not turning into a religious show. I just happen to know shit. I do. I may not believe this shit, but I know this shit. Jesus was, Lent is all about the last bit of Jesus's life. That's what Lent is all about. So you get to Palm Sunday, you got back to Jerusalem, and this ends with Easter. And that's what got me excited about, I'll be honest with you, it has me really excited about spring, because Easter's March 31st. It ain't that far away, folks. It's like 6 weeks away, man. And everybody knows why we celebrate Easter. Palm Sunday is because Jesus went back to Jerusalem, and they celebrated him waving palms. And that's where the ashes come from. The church, they bless palms, pass them out on Palm Sunday, and then they collect them at the end of it, and then they burn them to ash. And that's the ashes for Ash Wednesday, which marks the first day of Lent. Palm Sunday, then you get Good Friday because it's the day after Lent ends. Then we get Easter, and we all know why we celebrate Easter, because Jesus was resurrected, and when he came out of the tomb, he saw a bunny, a brown bunny, that magically laid an egg, and the egg was very brightly colored. So every year on Easter, we all eat chocolate brown bunnies and dye eggs really brightly colored. And find them, because that's what Jesus did. He found a bright. I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just making this. I'm just kidding. But anyways, it's that time of year, man. It's spring is coming. Spring is upon us, man. Spring is upon us. That always marks. Remember, when you see the Catholics with the ashes on their forehead, get your rose bushes and your trees trimmed. This is when you do it. I will be out working in the yard the next couple of days. I got trees to trim. I got roses to cut back. This is the time of year. I'm looking for some good comments, folks. I am. They rolled away the stone. Jesus saw a shadow, and there were 6 more. I love you people. I really do. I love you people. And hey, don't forget to visit realtexaspaul.com or the Texas Paul store. Get your It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser mug in preparation of the next election. Get your vote. Enough is enough mug. All that good stuff helps keep the lights on around here. I appreciate you. Puxatati cry. You people are hilarious. You are hilarious, man. I love that you are so far beyond the average person. I thank you for that. B.A. Ware has a great question here. Will the RNC fundraising be better if a Trump takes over for a McDaniel? No. It'll be a disaster. The RNC funds all kinds of races all over. And Laura Trump is saying that they're going to just be a Trump-only organization when she takes over. She said that. She publicly made that statement. Every penny going to the RNC will go to Trump's reelection, period. She has said that, which means donors won't be funneling money through the RNC because the billionaire frat boys club that funds the RNC aren't stupid. They know these down ballot races matter. So yeah, they're not going to put their money into the RNC like they normally do. They will fund using, dark money. Brian Busby says, hello, Texas Paul. I'm from H-Town. Great show. We were just in Houston, by the way. As for Trump VP pick, do you think Tim Scott is another option? No. Tim Scott is ugly. Them gums, man, when he smiles, what is with his upper lip? I swear to God, man, you can see into that man's nasal cavities when he smiles. No, he is way too physically unappealing. For Trump and Goofy. Oh no. Trump will not do that. Plus he's a moron. He really is. Tim Scott is a moron. He's the only guy I know of that is a middle-aged guy that would profess to you he's a freaking virgin. I mean, even if that's true, you probably should at your age, should probably keep it to yourself. Yeah. Tom Cotton's never going to be president. He's not. He may not even be a senator after this election. He's got a good opponent, by the way. All right. Let's get us one more good comment to wrap it up with. I appreciate you folks. I really do. Barbara D. Keith Olbermann's podcast a few days ago talked about how, by the way, I absolutely love Keith Olbermann. He makes some mistakes every once in a while, says some stupid shit every once in a while, but it's rare and few and far between. I love the guy's fire. Loved him on MSNBC. Think MSNBC was stupid for letting that man go. I mean, think about what Keith Olbermann would be doing for their ratings right now today. But anyways, Keith Olbermann's podcast a few days ago talked about how the Republicans would destroy the Democrats if Biden were to step down. Very thought-provoking. All right, look, if Biden were to pass away, wouldn't hurt us at all. But if we were to not support Biden, they would destroy us. They would absolutely destroy us. Who could motivate? If Biden were to pass away, everybody can run on his legacy. Everybody can run on his legacy. We're like Biden. We're like Biden. But if you replace Biden with somebody, you can't do that. You can't say, oh, I'm the new guy, but I'm also Biden. You can't do that. And Keith Olbermann is absolutely right. And that's what pisses me off about Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart knows this. Jon Stewart knows why we have two old guys running. He does. He knows that the Republican voter, your average Republican voter, is shit, is complete shit. And he also knows that the average Democratic voter very much hangs their hat on the fact that we get things done. And Biden get things done. That's why we would weekend at Bernie Biden's before we replaced him. We would. E.T. Pence's a nice vanilla background for Trump to use to look better. He'll want someone similar. No, I think he is not looking for that this time around in a VP. He is on a vengeance crusade, and Vivek Ramaswamy has no morals. He's got no sense of right or wrong. He will do anything Trump tells him to do. He is all in on Trump fascism. He wants Ramaswamy to be an attack dog. I guarantee you, he's not looking for another Mike Pence. He's looking for somebody that will not take his spotlight away, which Ramaswamy will not, and will also do his bidding unquestioned. That's what he wants. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, folks. I should have said that at the beginning of the show. Try to remember that, folks. When you get in, hit the thumbs up button, because it increases our live audience, because it recommends us to more people that are popping on YouTube to watch live stuff. So yeah, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Texas Paul. Good show. Looking for a 100% ass kisser. Absolutely. 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 All right. All right, folks. Wonder Mom says, I have more confidence that Biden will still be here in 4 years from now than I do Trump. Absolutely. Me too. Biden is in good physical shape. He'll be here. He'll be here. And the people are, more importantly, the people around him that are doing the job, that are making things good, will be here. Wages have just grown faster than they have in the last 50 years. Stefanik's over. She's yesterday's news. She's yesterday's news. She was the main driver behind Philip there. Look at what she did. She's a loser. She's got that loser taint on her. Trump doesn't want anything to do with her. She just got her ass handed to her in New York. Trump wants nothing to do with her. Trump's terrified of that loser taint. All right. Way House of Bounds says, even if Biden turns out to have issues like Reagan did, I trust Joe more than Nancy. I trust Joe Biden more than if Joe Biden starts to have serious cognitive issues. I'm not talking about a misstatement like he did the other day. He clearly was talking about Egypt. And Jon Stewart made a big deal of this. I'm still pissed at Jon Stewart. He was talking about Gaza. He was talking about how he helped get aid into Gaza. And he, clearly was talking about Egypt because he was talking about Gaza. He mentioned Sisi, El Sisi, by name. And then he said Mexico. He misspoke. Tripped over his own words. Clearly, he knew what he was talking about. He was talking about El-Sisi, the leader of Egypt. He doesn't think El-Sisi is the president of Mexico. He does not, I assure you, because Mexico wouldn't be sending. But, again, another reason I'm pissed off at Jon Stewart, because Jon Stewart pulls this graphic up. Mexico doesn't share a border with God. Everybody freaking knows that. We all know he didn't mean Mexico, that he just misspoke. But Joe, here's Jon Stewart talking about, oh, it's a serious issue. It's not a serious issue. Because those of us that are truly fighting for democracy posted over and over and over again, people on Fox News, Republicans that made the same damn talking point that are half Biden's age. Meanwhile, you've got Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas actually working with Mexico. You know where a lot of the immigrants are going? Be quite honest with you. Why you're going to see a serious decline in immigrants coming into this country? Mexico's economy is booming. They are desperate for workers right now. They're hiring these people. They are. They're hiring these people as they're coming in. I mean, folks, these Republican stupid talking points, we can't run a country on them. We just can't run a country on them. All right. Question, do I have the link to donate to Ukraine drones? I do not. I do not have that available to me. I don't. I can look it up, but you can look it up also. If you find it, feel free to post it. Good cause. Just make sure that you find the actual legitimate organization, not some grifter, because that's what right-wingers do. By the way, if you're going to support me, if you're going to buy Texas Paul gear or Midas gear or anybody like that, please buy it direct. Please. There are right-wingers that, I am not even kidding, folks. They're down here in the South. They copycat merchandise. They do. They copycat merchandise, and they sell it to keep your support from entering the left wing. And they undercut it. You can find cheaper Texas Paul merch out there. If you search the internet, you can find it cheaper. They'll sell it for $2 cheaper, $4 cheaper, $5 cheaper. But it's not the same gear. It's not the same stuff. It isn't. And it's not going to the same cause. You're actually supporting some right-winger that's trying to siphon money off. So please, if you're supporting Midas Touch or you're supporting me, go directly to the source. All right. So are you folks ready for spring? I don't know about you, but I got that beautiful spring sunshine coming through my window right now. I'm really excited about this spring. I'm going to take some pictures of my roses this year. John Scott, our audience is growing, so we're just going to get them in here. We're just going to get them in here. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. If we catch them, we block them. Don't worry about it. Just ignore them. It just means that we're having an impact. If we weren't having an impact and nobody was hearing us, nobody's watching us, they wouldn't be here. Anita Doug Holt says, thank you for discussing the Jon Stewart comeback. We're still sick of this our stomachs about it. Let me tell you something. I like Jon Stewart. I do. I like Jon Stewart. I really do. I just was really shocked that he was so tone deaf. It's like, read the room, man. Read the room. That he really thought that we needed 30 minutes on Biden's old. And then the stupid shit he said. I mean, okay, funny joke. Another funny joke. I was horrified when I realized 15 minutes in, this entire show is going to be Biden's old, and that Jon Stewart really believes that this was an issue that had to be brought to the forefront to his audience like we didn't know. And that was the thing that pissed me off, is when I commented on social media, I got so many people that were saying, well, it's an important issue. It needed to be. Where have you been? Where have you been that you think that this is something we don't know? Do you really think you need to tell somebody that Biden's old? We know. We still want him. He did a great job. We want more of that. You know, and if Joe Biden can only give me 2 more years of the same shit he's giving me now, I'll take it. I will frickin' take it. And let me tell you something. The Democratic bench, man, the 2020, we're going to dominate 2028. We are going to dominate 2028. Look at who's on our bench to run in 2028. Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, Andy Beshear. I mean, I could list 20 people to you that are solid candidates for 2028. Who's on the Republican bench? Because by 2028, Trump will be dead. That fat man is not going to live like his daddy did. He's not. Too many drugs, too much fast food. Eric Swalwell, there's another one. I mean, you know, Katie Porter. Yeah, Katie Porter. I don't know if you've noticed this. Look, I am not fat shaming Katie Porter. I am not. This is her herself doing this. Have you noticed that she has been in the gym? Have you noticed that? Girl getting ripped. She is. She is working. She has plans, people. She has plans. I guarantee you that is absolutely part of it. Jasmine Crockett has a great future. Somebody, Bobo Land here says Crockett. She has a great future. She is still too junior to politics to be a serious candidate in 2028. She is. Maybe 4 years from now, I'll change my mind. We'll see what happens with her over the next 4 years. Because look at Barack Obama. The guy was just so brilliant. You know, maybe Jasmine Crockett will, but right now I think she's still a little bit junior. I think she'll do what Mayor Pete's doing, and she'll serve and build up her chops. That's what I think Jasmine Crockett, because she is, yes, Jasmine Crockett is awesome. She is the boss. Raskin, yeah, but let's be honest with you, Raskin's not going to be president, ever. Jeffries, I think, is going to he is going to do what Nancy Pelosi did. I think Jeffries is going to be quite content to be a long-term Speaker of the House. Is Jon Stewart short of cash? No, Jon Stewart is fabulously wealthy. When you have a hobby farm in New Jersey, you got bucks. All right. Well, look, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show today as much as I enjoyed doing it. Great audience, solid over 2,000 live the entire time. That's from you folks hitting that thumbs up button, recommending it to people. So glad to be here with you as always. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. For those that practice Ash Wednesday, think about it. Beginning of Lent, get those prayers in, do your thing. But I love you folks. This is Old Texas Paul out. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.